Good morning, children. We were studying organization in living things and we studied about animal tissues. We studied two different types of animal tissues, epithelial tissues and connective tissue. Now, today we will continue with animal tissues and we will try to focus on muscular and nervous tissue. Now, children, in the previous class, I told you that there are four types of epithelial cells and how their structures are different and their location functions are different. Then we studied about tendons, ligaments and bones. Then in case of fluid connective tissue, I told you about blood and its different components. Today we will study about muscular tissue. Now, muscles you all are aware of, right? So it is because of these muscles that we are able to show locomotion and different types of movements. Now, there are some muscles which are attached to the skeleton, right? Then there are some muscles that make up our special internal organs. Some muscles we can move at our own will and some they move by themselves. They do not work according to our will. So, on the basis of their location, structure, function, muscular tissues are further divided into three types: involuntary, voluntary and cardiac. So, we will study them today. Muscle cells. In general, if we talk about muscle cells, they are elongated and large in size. Alright, that is why, since they are long, that is why they are known as muscle fibers. And how they are all connected with the help of connective tissue. On the basis of their location, structure and function, they are of three types. We will start voluntary muscles. Children, voluntary muscles are also known as skeletal muscles and striated muscles. Why? All the three names, whether we call it voluntary or skeletal or striated, there is some reason behind it. They are known as voluntary muscles because these muscles work according to our will. For example, we can move our arms and our legs whenever we want to. So, the muscles which are there in the arm or in our legs, they will come under voluntary muscles, right? We call them skeletal muscles. Why? Because they are attached to the bones. And we call them striated muscles because if we see the structure of voluntary muscles, then under the microscope also we will find that these muscle cells, they have alternating dark and light colored bands. Okay, at places there are dark bands and then followed by a light band, again a dark band and a light band. So, in this way there are band like structures, that is why we call them striated muscles. Okay. Now, they help in locomotion and other voluntary movements of our body. So, they are found in arms, legs, then are on our face, okay, neck, etc. Involuntary muscles, and they are also known as unstriated muscles. Now you know that why they are called involuntary and unstriated. They are involuntary because they do not work according to our will. They are spindle shaped. Spindle shaped means they will be quite pointed from both the ends and they have one nucleus. Okay, so in case of voluntary we found that there were more than one. Here there is just one nucleus. I will show you the structure also. Where do we find? For there is one example mentioned, food pipe. Now when we swallow the food moves through the food pipe into the stomach. So the food pipe contraction happens by itself. We are not responsible for making it contract and relax. Okay, it is happening, means the contraction and relaxation is an automated process, right? So that is why it is made of involuntary muscles. And there is no alternate light and dark bands also present. That is why they are known as unstriated. Now, where do we find it? Apart from food pipe, we will find involuntary muscles in the urinary bladder also, and in other internal organs. So, see, there is a need to push the urine outside, there is a need to push the food from the food pipe into the stomach. So, wherever these activities are there only we will find involuntary muscles. Alright. So, the function is to contract and to produce some sort of movement, so that the food can move, the waste material can move. Alright. Next is cardiac muscles. Now, whenever you will see the word cardiac, that means it is some related to heart. Okay. So, cardiac muscles means those muscles that make up the wall of the heart. Cardiac muscles are responsible for the contraction of heart. Okay, it is because of these muscles, because of the contraction of cardiac muscles, that the blood is pumped and is distributed throughout the body. So, if you see the structure, cardiac muscles, they are made of cylindrical, branched and uninucleated muscle cells. So, the structure is cylindrical and they are branched also. I will show you the structure, and they are uninuclear. Again, there is just one nucleus, right? And as I said, the contraction and relaxation of these muscles help in pumping blood to different parts of the body. If you see your book, there you will find on page number 23 the structural details of all the types of muscular tissues. You can see, in case of voluntary muscles, the alternating dark and light bands, the presence of more than one nucleus, and that is why, see, alternating bands are there. Now you know why they are known as striated muscles. Then involuntary muscles, I told you that they are spindle shaped and have one nucleus. Cardiac muscles, they are branched, so you can see the branches, and they are cylindrical and uninucleated. Alright. Now moving on to the next type of tissue, that is nervous tissue. Now children, our nervous system is one of the most important system. It helps our body to maintain all sorts of control and coordinated actions. Okay, if you are moving your hand, if you are thinking something, if you are running away from something, moving towards something, all these actions we can do very easily in a very controlled and coordinated manner. How? Because of our nervous system, right? The nerves, they receive the messages, they send it to the brain. So it is a very complex system that is going on inside our bodies, and because of that we show so much of control and coordinated activities. We show control and we can coordinate our activities. So nervous tissue is made up of specialized cells called nerve cells. The other name for nerve cells is neurons. Okay, so nervous tissue is made up of nerve cells or neurons. So nerve cells or neurons are the structural and functional unit of nervous system. Many neurons work together to form nervous tissue. Our brain, spinal cord and all the nerves are composed of nervous tissue. Now if you see the detailed structure of one nerve cell or a neuron, then what will you find? You must see the structure. Again, this structure, children, you will find in your textbook on page number 24. If you see the diagram, then you will observe that the nerve cell or a neuron has different regions, right? At the center there is one big nucleus. Where is it found? In the cell body. Okay, so this green colored portion is the cell body. Inside the cell body you see one big nucleus. Now this cell body is further branched. There are many branches you can see. So the dendrons and dendrites, you can see the labelings also. dendrons, and then dendrons are further branched into dendrites. These dendrons, they are short structures, they are coming out of the cyton or the cell body, and they further gets branched into dendrites. On one end of the cell body there is this elongated structure that is known as axon. Okay, so this is one long single cylindrical structure that is coming out from one end of the cell body. This is axon. And the axons, where do they end? They are ending at the endings, they are known as what? Axon endings, right? So if asked that describe a neuron or a nerve cell, so what will you say? That a nerve cell consists of a cell body, then an axon, and dendrons and dendrites. Okay, cell body, it encloses one centrally placed big sized nucleus. Then there is this axon. One end of the cell body, it elongates and it forms a cylindrical long structure called axon. This axon has its endings known as axon endings. The other ends of the cell body or the cyton, it has a short structure called dendron, and those dendrons, they further branch into dendrites. Okay, so this is a very clear and a well labeled diagram of nerve cell. Now what you have to do is you have to draw this diagram in your notebook. Okay, this is figure 2.15 of your textbook. You have to draw this diagram. You will draw figure 2.14 also, all the muscular tissues you will draw in your notebook, and go through the chapter well. Okay, study till the portion that I have covered today. I will start with the different systems of our body, their functions, and we will move on to the higher levels of organization in the next term. Okay, thank you children.